We are back.
Middle of the month. Ugh, oh man. Yo, did you see Marshawn's photo?
Oh my God, bro. He was on that Zaza.
I'm never one to persecute anyone at the beginning of a trial, but he did that shit. Yo, welcome to episode 45 of the Freedom Cage podcast, as always, where we lock into a free state of mind each and every week on all DSPs, of course. But to my right, I got my main guy, my ace. My left on my right this week, Shawn, better known as Mr. Senor on all your socials.
You know.
And me, I'm Kenny, man. Also known as King Kaepernick on all those socials. But yo, man, it's August. It's been a hot month.
Very hot.
Not to, piggyback off the last episode, but Yankees have been in a bit of a slump. But we'll be back. We more of an October team anyway.
It happens.
But how you doing, man? How's your last couple of weeks been?
Oh man, busy. It's so funny. Like in the middle of July, I was like, it's very quiet. But it's like the storm, the storm is coming, and we've been talking about that in past episodes. So now it's like everybody came back from vacation. They're getting all those emails, and they're like, "Wait a minute, what do you mean this is happening?" Like,
I didn't approve this.
Yeah, exactly. So for me personally, man, it's the best part of the job because everything is just like full speed ahead, and it makes the days fly by. But then there's the negative part of that because summer's almost over.
Yep. Facts. Summer's school shopping soon.
Yeah, man. How about you?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Early August. Got a little pay bump in the old paycheck system.
Nice.
And it's funny, this year, every year they do the customary evaluation conversation. And it's funny. With the whole Kevin Durant, free agent shit.
Uh-huh.
I shot my shot, you know what I'm saying? I was like, listen, hey boss, listen, hey, I love you guys. You always treated me with, the utmost respect. I want to make a proposition, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, what you got? He says, instead of a raise, I'm thinking of like a 1-year contract. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, kind of like a sign-in bonus. It's like, I'm following. I'm like, yeah. I'm going to need like 20 racks to stay. There's like, Ken, we're going to have to revisit the books. I don't think, we appreciate your ambition, but we're just going to give you the customary. All right, that's cool. I was just curious. I was shooting a shot. But other than that, work's been good, man. Everything's falling into play. Summertime never really slows down, but it's a good thing, right? Right. But other than that, everything's been good, man. No complaints.
That's good, brother. That's good. But we do have one complaint.
Uh-oh.
Brittney Griner, man. We were talking about this last episode, man, and I feel like we almost jinxed it in a way, but we were telling the truth, right?
We were telling them what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But who said it best? I think Jamil Hill said it best. She's like, granted, the news was tough. It was abrupt. We had a good feeling she would, get stupid, years or time or sentence. But you got to get to that step to get to the next step. Now negotiations between countries can happen, and just we all pray it moves swiftly. Because every day in Russia is another day not in the States.
That's true.
So, I don't know. I just wish her the best, man. I really hope it works out. Because I don't know if we're going to give up, the God of War or whatever his name was. That's a wild, lopsided trade. But, like, granted, she could block shots, but this nigga shoot guns. So, it's weird. So, I don't know.
But 9 years is extensive.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes. 9 years is extensive. And listen, being an American citizen, it's not like we do better when it comes to prison sentences for carrying a concealed, a substance, illegal substance. So, I mean, for this personally, man, I look back to everything that you said, and I remember posting it on social media and going, what if this really gets drug out longer? And now there's a lot of side conversations where it's like we shouldn't be talking about the trade. And we talked about this before. Now the political piece, they don't want this stuff to be out in the open. They want it to be handled behind closed doors. And there was even someone saying that we may not even know anything has happened until she's actually on a plane headed back to the States.
Hey, that's cool. No news is. I hope in this case, no news is good news. I tell you that to clients a lot. Say, hey, if you don't hear from me and I don't hear from you, that means there's nothing wrong. Keep it going. But this kind of situation, you want to be, in the loop, but some things you just won't be able to be looped in. It's government secrets. It's little things that they need to handle on the back channel end. I just hope it moves with a bit more speed, because we're approaching, I think, day 180, 190 or so. That's half the year about, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's going to be 2023 in no time, and I got a feeling she might hopefully get out by the end of the year. I don't know if they're taking bets, but if I was a betting guy, I'll say December, Christmas.
Really? Just in time for Christmas?
Just in time for Christmas. It's too cold in Russia. She got to get the fuck out of there.
I hear that shit. All right. We'll see how that goes, man. Once again, it's always free BG. We'll be paying attention to what happens next, but I agree with you. I think if we don't hear anything and she comes home, that's good enough for everybody.
Big plus. Big plus.
All right, definitely, man. So next up, another very big highlight in the news right now. If you remember back in 2020, after the unfortunate murder of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor was also murdered in what they called a lawful no-knock warrant. Now what we're hearing is that 4 current and former officers are being charged with murder.
Salute.
You know what I mean? Finally.
Put them under the jail.
Finally, we're actually getting Breonna's getting justice, right? This is from all of the activists, everybody that was out there marching, putting it out there. We're just talking about it, right? So in hearing this, when you first heard it, how did you feel?
Relieved. Happy to hear that progress is still a thing. It's still happening, and benefit for those that other misfortune, those unfortunately died by the hands of this. But it's good to see accountability starting to stack up. You know what I mean? There's been a few cases now this past couple months where those being prosecuted that we all assume would just get off due to the system that unfortunately we were raised in and see every day, starting to work in the way that we thought it would. Yeah. If you do a crime, regardless of your position, it's a crime. A crime's a crime. You got to go to jail for it. Some things they did not teach you in the academy. Going into the wrong home with a no-knock warrant isn't one of them. You got to go to jail, especially somebody died at the outcome of that. Yeah. It wasn't a inconvenience. Say, hey, I didn't have clothes on when you came in. Nah, you killed someone. Someone has to go to jail for this unjust action. Now, people are starting to go to jail for it. Finally, 2022. Yeah. We're not going to start when it started, but 2022.
Yeah, man. And this, I tell you, the news that keeps coming out, it's almost like a scene out of Training Day. So it's starting to come to fruition that one of the officers actually falsified evidence to create this warrant.
Not the first time.
And then the officer who approved the warrant knew that the officer that was given the false evidence was like all of them were in on it. And now it just makes you wonder, right? Now you go into conspiracy mode. What did Breonna know that could have triggered this to happen?
Honestly, I really just think it was I won't say a one-off case, but her door just happened to be the wrong door. I don't think it was a malicious attack against her as a person specifically. They had the warrant to go to another neighbor's house. Granted, it was still an error, and they just knocked on the wrong door. But
even falsifying the warrant, you even get the address wrong?
The fact that it was done so cavalierly, this wasn't the first time. This is probably his 3rd or 4th warrant sign off that week, and he probably didn't read the first 2. It's just a creature of habit, unfortunately, it sounds like, where it's like, hey, judge, we need you to sign this. Everything's on the books. Everything's working out. Bad guy. No doubt. So you go. Here's your warrant. Go get your bad guy. Bring it back to court. We'll talk about it. A lot of these feels like a formality. It's just part of not the game, unfortunately, but the system. You know what I mean?
I could see if it wasn't false evidence, but it was the wrong address. but you have falsifying evidence to get a warrant.
Mm-hmm.
The person who approved the warrant knows that it wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the wrong address on top of it. Like, that's too much coincidence.
I'm just not sure how much verification goes into this right before the signing of said warrant or the initiation of said warrant.
Mm-hmm.
How much that last person does as far as research. I think they assume they're taking whoever gives this paperwork do just that. They did everything they needed to do legally. Like if I present a contract to you and we spoke about this beforehand, like, hey, A, B, and C is happening. You assume A, B, and C is happening. You sign off. You find out, oh, there's a D through G on the back of the sheet. I didn't know. All my royalties were gone. Like, you know what I mean? It's little things like that get overlooked, and unfortunately, this is the worst of worst circumstances.
That's a big overlook, man. Like, yeah. I could understand if you, like, a patient going into an institution and you send it to the old address,
Mm-hmm.
Not the new address, but to get the address, to falsify evidence, to get a false warrant, to get a warrant that was just approved erroneously, and then it be the bad address. So who the hell was the neighbor? Like,
and did they ever catch him? Did they ever catch him?
Yeah, because now I'm really concerned. Because now, if somebody knock on my door, I need proof of your approval of this warrant before you walk in here.
Of course,
like that tears down. That probably tears down all the cases that came out of that precinct.
Mm-hmm.
If this shit really gets a guilty verdict.
And not to burst your bubble, the only reason the world knows about it is because she died.
That's true.
In the event they went in with rubber bullets or tasers and just subdued whomever they thought they were coming to arrest, it just would have been another criminal that night, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Speaking from a cop sense. But it went the wrong route. Everyone found out about your error. We got to blow this up, put a magnifying glass on it, and now we're seeing all the turmoil that led up to this unlawful decision.
So you're saying the boyfriend pulling the gun was actually a good thing?
No, not at all.
If he doesn't, then it probably is they probably arrest her.
Correct. And then you find out at the precinct, oh, we got the wrong person. Our mistake.
Mm-hmm.
We apologize. Please go about your day and don't sue us.
That way?
If I got that far where I didn't get hurt, and now you see I'm not the person on said warrant, my ID matches my face, and that face doesn't match your face, I don't think it's too much more we could talk about at that point. It's a false arrest. Understood. But the fact that she wasn't there to even plead her case at the precinct because she didn't make it there alive, that's why it's a topic of conversation, unfortunately. Because I'll tell you right now, I've been pulled over many a time. I've seen many a pullover where it's like, hey, man, it was there when I looked. That's the third time you looked. What you mean? You're going to jail just because he found something at this point. Mm-hmm. No one ever brought up, hey, the other cop that was with you that looked here after you looked here, then you came back and then found something. What was the other cop doing? No one ever questions that guy. But now I'm in jail because you found something that didn't belong to me in the first place. But I didn't die, so it's not a national story. Mm-hmm. If whomever fought their case at the site, now you're, what's it called? Resisting arrest. Mm-hmm. Now I got a reason to get shot. Now we're here. Then, but unfortunately, you would have to get shot. Sadly, probably die to get enough attention for them to go, oh, he has a history of planting drugs on people in cars? Interesting. Mm-hmm. But that never gets looked at unless that person dies, unfortunately. And that's the sad part about it.
Right.
Because all these other arrests, whether it be valid or invalid, if no one dies, it's just an arrest. Worst case scenario, you've seen it. Oh, it's been 15 years, and now we got the evidence that we need to let you go. We apologize. You're exonerated. We'll let you go about your day, give you a little severance pay. Hopefully, this is even, and let you go about your day. But if that person died that day of this incident, it would have been a magnifying glass on the incident. Everybody's book is getting read now. That doesn't happen when it's just a 1-2. Oh, it's you. Oh, you agree to this? Not really. Oh, but you have no lawyer, no representation. Mm-hmm. Gotta send you the Rikers. There's no backstory to that.
Yeah.
It sucks when it has to get that far for the truth, but we're here. Finally.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll continue to watch this, man. This is gonna be interesting, man. So before we jump over into the question segment, last Tuesday, you guys will be hearing this on August 15th. It's Monday. So last week, Tuesday, August 9th, was International Indigenous Peoples Day. And on this day, it's really just representing the culture of indigenous people. Most of you may know the previous terminology, Native American. That, I believe, over the last 2 years has been under high criticism. You see several sports teams have had to change their names.
Commanders.
Yeah, you know, we got the Washington Commanders now. You got the Cleveland Guardians. So you can see how the awareness of underlying issues with naming that can be a trigger for people is starting to change. So indigenous people is the way you would refer to Native Americans. And interestingly enough, we watched a documentary called The Forgotten, and it highlights how in Canada they coerced women into sterilization. Right. And you never think Canada and bad things.
No, they have free healthcare. I didn't
Right.
think. Yeah.
But they were actually coercing, and you guys can go and do your research, as we always say. They were coercing indigenous women into sterilization so that they could not
Reproduce. That's rough.
Exactly.
That's rough.
You know what I mean? And then there was even some stories of, you know, men that weren't receiving the proper health care that they needed. There was one story of a gentleman that sat in an ER for about 45 minutes and died, even though the people in the waiting room were trying to get them to see, yo, this guy needs help. Yeah. But there's all kinds of underlying health disparities when minorities walk into a healthcare institution. Yes. Most notably what they call the GFFR, which is a calculation that puts you on the kidney transplant list. For some reason,
you have to break that down for me.
So there's a calculation that they use. It's like an index that qualifies you to make it on the kidney transplant list. And if you were black, there was a higher percentage to your calculation because there was this stigma that black people just could handle things a little bit more. And that calculation kept a lot of black people from making the kidney transplant list because they didn't meet the index.
Criteria, so
exactly. White people's index was lower.
A lot low because they couldn't handle as much.
Exactly. So a lot of black people didn't make the kidney transplant list. That calculation was just changed, I believe, 2 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. And what really prompted it was the unfortunate murders. And I bring it up now because the unfortunate murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and COVID was like the perfect storm to say, okay, there's really a problem here.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So I say that to say every culture, we all need to respect the fact that while racism is a thing, we are living on borrowed land from the indigenous people. And New York, as I just learned also last week, is one of the highest populations of indigenous people.
You know.
I know.
I just sort of assumed Middle America for some reason. Where most farmland.
We all thought the same thing. You know what I mean? So
I don't know any.
So here's the thing. I don't know if it's just that people don't feel proud or open enough to share that they have indigenous people descent.
Not to be funny, but when we were young, I got Indian in my family, 6%.
Right.
Fam. Just because your hair happened to be straight don't mean that. You know what I mean? You had a great grand uncle who had a teepee. That's not what you're thinking. It's so separate.
Right.
I'm sorry, we're going.
No, yeah, but that's the thing too. Like in certain organizations, what's the highest population of indigenous people working in, that institution? You know what I mean? So it was a lot, man. But yeah, we always like to bring awareness to the show. So
yeah, man.
That was August 9th.
August 9th.
Yeah.
You were mentioning pre-show Indigenous. There's also a month?
Yes. So There's actually October is actually, it used to be referred to as Native American Heritage Month.
Have to change that shit.
Right. So now it's Indigenous People Heritage Month in October. Yep. So there's actually going to be a powwow out in Randall's Island in like middle of October. I think it's the 13th and 14th. And I heard it's actually pretty good. I'm going to try and make it out.
Not to put you under the bus, but hey, we got a Black History Month. Who do I talk about getting a Black History Day outside of February?
Oh, that might be Juneteenth. You know, I, at the risk of not sounding funny too, that might be Juneteenth. Might be our Black History Day.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. I better get paid for it next year and have the day off, but I'll take it, man. I know we about to get into questions, but
yes.
Please tell me I'm not the only person getting these ED random text messages.
You mean erectile dysfunction? You said?
Correct.
Oh shit! You sure you ain't go to like a website or something?
Fam, what was it?
Because we brought this up like a couple episodes ago.
It's like an hour ago. It says, ED got you feeling down? Add up to 3 firm inches in 9 minutes or pay absolutely nothing. I get these at least once a week, bro. And I'm like, yo, who sold my number to who? Who did I talk to? Who did I give my number to where they got caught up in this terrible, dysfunctional?
Yeah, you don't lend people your phone, right? To like look up shit.
I'm thinking of everybody that touched my phone in the last 6 months. You know what I'm saying? But yo, yeah, I can't block these numbers quick enough. It don't matter. It says you want to delete the thread too? Yes, delete the fucking thread. I don't want this in my history. Yeah, man. If anybody knows anyone I could talk to get me off this list, please, man.
You try blocking the numbers too? Do they
be new numbers. Damn. New numbers, man. New numbers every text, man. Every fucking text. But yeah, man.
Robocallers getting good, man. They're getting good.
I just want to know if I did something to qualify for this treatment. Like, did I curse out the wrong person? Did I walk funny somewhere one day? Somebody peed? I don't know, man.
She said walk somewhere.
I'm sorry. I just have to get off my chest. But yeah, man.
Yo, listen, that's serious business.
Telemarketers, man. Nasty business. Nasty business.
So anyway, you know what I mean? This next question comes from a lot of really deep conversations about plenty of things, right? Whether it's working out, chasing a career path, being there for your loved ones, being there for your spouse, right? We have a lot of conversations about relationships and what does it take to keep things spicy and keep things healthy. So this question here is there such a thing as enough time? And this is so generic because those two words together, enough time, they instantly trigger me.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask you, what do you think about when you hear someone say, I don't have enough time?
It's really by circumstance, and that sucks. Because, from all my 9 to 5 people, you work, a strong 7.5 hours. But once 450 come around, you be like, yeah, I had enough time. Like, I'm ready to go. But if you're ever in a situation where you might be eating your favorite dish or your favorite food, I wish I had more time to eat more of this. You just don't. Like, it all depends on the situation. But regardless, it's really never enough time. 24 hours is never enough. 7 days a week is never enough. I really wish we had 27 hours a day. I feel like I could get everything done if I had extra 3 hours, but there's never enough time. Never.
So I love that you said that because I treat those two words as like when girls get purses or get a purse. And I'll explain myself, right? I think enough time is just like a purse because no matter how big the purse, you're going to keep filling it and say you need a bigger purse.
Correct.
Before you know it, you got a luggage, right? It's about, for me, what you're doing with the time. There's no such thing. I agree with you. There's no such thing as enough time because you keep trying to fill everything into the time that you have.
Correct.
And there's no such thing.
Never.
Right? your life changes as you go through your circumstance, just like you said. And depending on that circumstance, you have to start weighing priorities. Mm-hmm. Hence why we don't have the same friends we have. We don't do the same things we used to do, because we have to take care of things differently. Mm-hmm. But when I hear people say, I don't have enough time, it triggers me, because if it's something that's important to you,
you make the time.
Exactly. And I think we have to get used to finding those little moments where we're wasting our time.
Like TikTok?
Yes. And I looked at the question. We got that coming up. We're going to get into that, right? And I guarantee anybody who's listening to this right now, if you logged your days for a week, all 24 hours, I guarantee you're going to find a good amount of time in that week that you could have put towards something that you are trying to accomplish.
Productivity, side hustles, health, fitness, anything, a hobby that you was looking to learn. You have the time to do it. Mm-hmm. It's all about what you're willing to sacrifice as well in order to gain momentum in that other space.
Right.
You might... Sorry, y'all. I Netflix, I Hulu, I HBO On Demand, I YouTube TV with the rest of y'all. Mm-hmm. But some nights you can't watch 3 episodes. It's okay.
Yep.
Like I tell the Jen all the time, like, you want to do another one? I'll be like, damn, that last one did end good, right? But sometimes I go, no. I gotta put my hand down, like, no.
That's it.
Tomorrow night we'll pick up where we left off and we'll catch this next 48 minutes of it. And she'd be like, all right. You know, and that's it.
Yeah.
Come tomorrow, you got something to watch. But once you get into the habit of, ooh, next one. Ooh, next one. It's been many a night. We both go, it's 2:30.
Yo.
We got to wake up in 3 hours. What?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I don't know. But it's a terrible habit that people have. It's also a coping mechanism for you're not, whatever it is, isn't as important as someone else may be making it out to be. If someone's going, hey, we should go out one day and grab drinks after work. No doubt.
Oh,
definitely.
yeah, that's different.
You know how that goes.
That's different.
You know how that goes. He goes, I don't know if I got enough time on that Thursday to go that way. I usually go this way. And
Yeah.
Fam, you could leave work 10 minutes earlier. You could be 10 minutes late to wherever you're going just to have that quick function.
Yeah.
But you chose not to. And it's honestly, it's a coping. People are like, ooh, I don't got no time to do that. I'd rather you just say no. People don't like saying no, but just say no. No is precise. It's quick. It's to the point. Mm-hmm. No one's curious about the whereabouts. And I'm guilty of it. Yo, what you doing excited? You want to come up? Yo, no doubt. Hit me up. La, la, la. You knew I wasn't going when you asked me. But I appreciate you asking me, and I'm going to entertain the question by hoping I could make it. Even though I probably won't.
Yeah.
But it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah. Just my suggestion with it is, if it's something that's important to you, set the plan, make the time, and then execute. Similar to what Kenny was just saying, if you train your mind to plan your time out, yes, you can adjust for variables, distractions, interruptions that are out of your control, but you can still find a way to stick to the plan. Mm-hmm. Because half of those distractions are things that you let inside, and you're calling them things that you can't avoid when really you can. And I'm going to step into a zone of insensitivity, but I need to do it, right?
We love insensitivity. We love insensitivity.
You know what I mean? We tend to use our kids a lot as excuses for why we can't do things. Mm-hmm. And all I have to say to that is, you should definitely put yourself around people who are finding ways to do it with kids. To your point, if I can't tie to your circumstances, then I'm not the person that you need to be talking to about your dreams and your goals. Mm-hmm. You need to be talking to somebody who is doing what you want to do, that's in a similar situation, that can guide you into finding that time, how they did it, right? Mm-hmm. Whether they had some way of having their kids watch while they worked or went to school or went to the gym or worked out at home. There are people who are finding ways with 2-3 kids, right? So all I can say is if you put yourself around those people, I guarantee you will find gems. 9 times out of 10, those people that are using the kids or anything as an excuse, they're around people who don't equate to their circumstance.
You know, me personally, having 3 kids and never feeling like there is enough time, what I learned, sounds funny with Lennox actually starting to walk, but baby steps are still steps. People don't understand. They go, oh, I got to do something, and they know in their head it's going to take 10 hours to complete.
Yes, yeah.
It's like, oh, I only got 1 hour tonight. What am I do? What am I do? What am I do? Fam, you do an hour's worth of the work. Tomorrow will come, and guess what? Now there's 9 hours left. But guess what you're going to do? 1 more hour. Yeah. You build on it. Baby steps are still steps. People get fascinated with I got to do it all now. I got to finish it today. It's impossible. You can, bro. Everything starts with the foundation. When people look at a piece of vacant land, they go, I want a window right there. You can't just float a window right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to dig up the earth. You got to put down concrete. You got to get there. Everything takes steps, but until you take those little steps, you'll never get to your end goal. You'll never get there. Believe in the baby steps. It is still progress. You may not be, significant today, but if you look back 7 days from now, 2 weeks, a month, a year, you'll see the progress in what you hope to strive for. I'm telling you, it's the best way ever. And I didn't realize it until I had kids, because I felt like before kids, I ain't have time. Now I got kids, and I still ain't got time.
Yeah, man.
Nothing's gonna change.
It never changes, and that's the funny thing, right? People think they say I don't have enough time. Like one day they're gonna have enough time. You know when you're gonna have enough time?
When you're dead.
When you're dead. When you're on your deathbed and you're like, damn, I wish I had more time. Just to be alive the next day and be like, I ain't got no time.
I ain't got no time. I'm out of time. Yeah, it's funny.
You know what I mean?
Time. That's a funny concept.
It's all about if it's important to you. Like, I'm not talking about, hey, why didn't you say hello to me? It's been 3 weeks. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if it's something that you really want to accomplish in life, we have to get our minds away from the thought process and those 2 dreaded words, enough time. There is no such thing. Even the rich people that don't have to have a 9 to 5 have enough time.
Correct. And what we was talking earlier, sacrifice. That's a big part. Granted, baby steps are a thing, but if you do have kids, you realize staying up late and waking up early is super helpful.
Yep.
You don't know how cool a quiet house at 4 a.m. is. You know what 4 to 7 is at the crib?
Oh, man.
It's the golden hours, man. I got a lot of my shit done in the early morning or the wee hours of the night just because I know I'm not getting that'll blow my whole thing.
People used to laugh at the fact when I would post that I was working out between like 2 and 5. And I was like, it's because nobody else is up. I'm not missing anything that my wife needs. I'm not playing with my son. Everybody's asleep. So I could do anything.
You could try new tricks, all kinds of shit, bro. But I don't know. Sacrifice. If you are dead serious in something, write it down. Put it up on the fridge. Make sure you see it every day. Stick to it.
Vision wall. Yeah.
That's all. That's it. Baby steps, baby. Baby steps.
Yep.
But I got a real question for you.
What's up?
All right, how can I frame this professionally? All right.
No such thing.
No such thing. If your partner's ex was well off financially or like had the hookup in a beneficial situation to either you or your partner, would you allow or even consider that sort of aid from your partner's ex?
That's a good one.
It's a lot to unpack there. I'm sorry.
It really is. It really is. So I'm going to have to say no because of the simple fact that momentary boost can cause me a lifetime of pain.
If you and your lady go to the movies, and one of y'all exes working the booth, hey, how can I help you? Oh, let me get 2 for transfer. Oh, What's up? So, oh, it's y'all. You take these tickets. If your partner goes, nah, it's cool, we'll pay. Like, are you?
Yeah, because for me, it's those one-sided situations never are successful in a relationship. They never are. It's like if you walked into the store and always got free burgers, but she had to pay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a one-sided benefit, and it's going to bother her. Like, why they only give it to you and not me?
Now, see me, I would just go on an extra 2 burgers because it's gonna be free for me. Now
Right,
we got
okay.
burgers.
All right.
Now I didn't tell you where these burgers came from.
Exactly.
Is that wrong?
Yeah, because now you're hiding shit.
Oh, but you got what you fed. Hey, you're not hungry no more.
Listen, I'm with you. You're solving the problem, but if
you cause another one,
yeah, you're causing a bigger
Pandora's
one.
box is a real place.
Yeah, absolutely. No, listen, trust me, man. That was always a fear of mine. Like, if I got with a girl and the last dude she was with was like well off than I was, then is she adjusting to a different lifestyle? Like,
Absolutely.
We're not going to Ruth's Chris on a Tuesday anymore.
Absolutely.
Like,
it's an adjustment.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna order this Uber Eats and be happy with it. Like,
I don't know if we're gonna be happy, but we're gonna order these Uber Eats.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna order these Uber Eats, and you know, I ain't got a Cadillac, I ain't got a Benz, but you know, I got this Nissan for you with leather. You know what I mean? Like, so that's always been a fear. You know what I'm saying? But when you shoot your shot, you shoot your shot, man. You either gonna be Steph Curry or you gonna be, you know, not Steph Curry.
There's another spin on it. Now, I hate to be that guy, but granted, it's a two-way street, but perception, it's a very big thing. If a guy does something, it's not that it's frowned upon, but it's kind of okay. But if a girl does the same thing, it's looked at with more scrutiny.
Of course.
If if in a relationship, one of the exes turned into a sugar daddy or a sugar mama, do you allow that to happen? Or if it did happen and you found out after the fact, how would you react?
That if he was giving her money while we were together?
Correct. Now, granted, you guys might have been in dire need. It might have been a life or death situation, and whatever was needed, and the ex provided it.
Yeah, I would. Damn. Because there has to be a sense of understanding that we are in this relationship, right? We should be able to depend on each other or talk about if we're going to make a certain decision. And I find that when you make more decisions for other people that don't factor in how they may feel, you already stepping into dangerous territory.
Correct.
As much as you may think you're helping you may not be helping. Correct. Because you fail to communicate with that person. And in most cases, you're doing that because you know what they're going to say already. Correct.
Very true. All facts from my man Senor Lee over here. All right, I tried to give you a tricky one this week, but I see you answered this correctly as always. I'll get you next pay week. Another thing. All right. This TikTok shit. I remember you just telling me about this months ago. Yeah. So, TikTok is dope, but it's just you get so wrapped up once you're in it. Like, one slide, 2 slides, then it's like 10 minutes go by. You're like, damn, what the fuck was I doing? Yeah. You told me to sign up for TikTok. I did it. I'm mad I did it. Because it'll be a little alert. I'm like, all right, it's my only notification. Let me see what's going on. Boop. Haha, that was funny. Swipe. Ooh, that was educational. Swipe. Haha, funny. You find yourself doing this shit 10 quick minutes.
Yeah, man.
Now you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck was that? Fuck. Like, yo, I I see TikTok. I just swipe it. I don't even want to see it. I don't want to open that app, bro. I just know it's like it's gonna be 10 minutes. I'm never gonna get back. Yeah, and I don't have enough time.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And then we talked about this before. Ramel talked about it. How they did the study. There is something about this action with your finger. Like think about Angry Birds.
Yes.
Like what was so special? There was nothing special about that game, but the fact that you were just moving your fingers in a certain way. Like all of us have that game right now on our phone. We can spend a good 2 hours
easy, and
there's no purpose of the game. There's no goal. You just keep going from level to level to level, and then you're mad when you run out of lives, and you're like, shit. Now I gotta wait an hour, a half hour to get another life.
Yeah, it's weird. Man. It is weird how that works, but
hell yeah.
Physics,
wild shit, man.
Physics.
All right, people, it is that time.
Already? Let's go.
FCP Minute Newz.
Let's get the stretching.
Featuring your man, Ken Kapnick. Let me get my timer ready, brother, and we will get it
Got some nasty
started.
Business to get to in this quick minute.
I see. Woo. All right, brother. Let me know, and I'll start.
All right, I'm going to start with the clean news.
Go.
All right. Remember Twista, fast rapping Kanye guy?
Yeah.
He's a ventriloquist now.
Get out.
End of that story. Anyway, but TikTok, as we were just saying, if anybody's ever mad at a situation, TikTok's the way to go. Make something viral, get it off your platform. Turns out Airbnb was listing a house from the 1830s that was listed as a slave cabin. TikTok wasn't having it. They made a big stink about it. Shit gone. Airbnb was big wildin'. But quick nasty business. Kevin Spacey, yeah, he's gonna have to pay $31 million for his little sexual assault situation. And Vince McMahon, they found out he paid an extra $10 million in the same bullshit. But he already quit, so he can't quit twice. And other last nasty news, Donald Trump, feds ran up on his crib. Funny shit. But I think they was looking for documents that he might have stole from the White House. But you know Trump, he don't give a fuck.
Nah.
But hey, man, that's the Minute News.
Hey.
We out here, man, getting it done. Time to spare today.
There it is, man. Oh, man.
I'm telling you, man.
They raiding everybody.
They raiding them. They raiding them all. Raiding them all.
Definitely, man. All right, so over to sports real quick, man. This is just building. We're talking about Deshaun Watson and the 24 men, or did it go up again?
I want to say mid-20s, be safe.
All right, mid-20s. It's
not funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I apologize.
It's actually sad.
Very super.
Definitely over 20 women who've accused him, 20 masseuses who've accused him of improper sexual conduct. And as we reported, he was due to get some sort of suspension, right? Mm-hmm. It was going to be in front of the judicial officer for the NFL.
Correct.
Right. So they ended up coming up with a 6-game suspension. Now, with the 6-game suspension, when you hear the ruling from the judge, she talks about egregious conduct and predatory actions. Mm-hmm. Don't those sound like words that should yield more than a 6-game suspension?
When she was reading the list leading up to the end game, I was like, oh, he might have to go to jail today. I thought it was over. 6 games. See you in November. I was like, I didn't fit. You sure? All that shit you just read off? I'll take it if I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But if you're anyone else other than a Cleveland Browns fan, it's not right. It's not enough time.
I was shocked.
The way she just read them off like, this is bad, that's bad, that didn't help him. This doesn't help the case. It just kept stacking against him. Ended up with 6 games. But Goodell got something to say about that.
Yeah, man, because right after that, the NFL and the NFL Players Association had a certain time frame to appeal. So when I saw that, I said, well, there's no need to appeal because in my mind, I'm thinking their appeal would be for a lesser suspension. But I've come to learn that Roger Goodell is saying, yeah, we're going to appeal because we think he should get a full year.
where was this sentiment like a year ago when it all started? When he was, it started. Was it the middle of last season?
I probably want to say
or before,
because we were talking about this for a while. I want to say before the season.
Right, so he didn't play all last season because of the allegation.
He deleted his social media, everything.
Not that was punishment enough, but he did sit out. He lost a few million. He had to swap teams. Like, it was a lot of repercussions that he had to go through just for the allegation. Mm-hmm. Court process, did the due diligence, found him not, I won't say not guilty, but we could improve a lot of this stuff to put you behind bars. Granted. Signs his contract with the Browns. He has the new litigation last week. But the whole 6th game, and now Goodell going above and beyond to try to push for even longer. This is the end of his career. I don't see him being able to come back from this. He took a year off. Well, didn't take a year off. He was forced to have a year off due to the situation, allegations. Rendered verdict. Now they're rendering appeals and whatnot, and then they're going to try to supersede something that the court kind of established. I just don't know when the NFL and the Shield comes into play on these items. Is it before the court? Is it during the court? Is it after the court? Is arbitration beyond the court's decision? And I feel like Roger Goodell always kind of flip-flops, depending. Yeah. Just does it with the weather. There's no consistency. That's what bugs me the most.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next with this. And, the conversation is even tougher now because we have not just women who are, with assault cases against them. Mm-hmm. We have these great women analysts that have to report on this, and they are looking at this like, what the hell, NFL? What the hell, Roger Goodell? Yeah. Like, this is the best you could come up with. Like, as women, they don't feel protected, and if I'm an NFL player right now, I'm wondering what's the image of this shield right now that we just like this isn't a good look.
No, not at all. Like, not to bring back up, but back to the Ray Rice thing. When it was all talk, not that it was okay, but hey, couples go through their spats, cops were called, things were, leveled out, everyone went to the separate corners. Reconcile, made up. It is what it is. Everyone's sorry. Then the video dropped. And now it's a whole new light on the same set of words that you read 10 different ways. It's like, on paper, we had an argument. Hits were exchanged. And then we went back to our room. That's all you see on paper. But the video is worse than like 1,000 words. It's visual. It's everything. And then as soon as that was live, now it's a real issue. I felt the same Deshaun thing. I thought throughout the whole year, one of these masseuses are going to have a camera in his room at some point. Granted, it's an invasion of privacy for said client, but it should be made for the masseuse to protect themselves, especially if they're in a private environment, in the comfort of their own home or their own a solo venture as a business. Yes, it is an invasion of privacy, but it's also for my protection in the event something goes wrong. Like, go to grocery stores, cameras are running all day long. Nobody's watching this video the next day unless someone got shot, unless something bad happened. I just was, not that I was hoping, but I was really looking for a video to make it concrete. Let whatever the allegations was. We only need 1 10-second video to go, oh, he's an animal. You saw what he did when he flipped over in the chair? Right. That was what we've been talking about. He does this specifically. Similar to cops and when shit goes wrong. Oh, the body camera's off, so you just got to take our word for it. And we've taken those words, and it's cost people a lot of time. And then the videos surface, and they go, oh, this is what actually happened. And unfortunately, this world needs video evidence to kind of conclude a lot of things, because your word of mouth really isn't enough anymore.
Yeah, it's tough sledding, because for that type of service, if you put a camera there now, if I'm on the other end of this, right, I'm a great client. I don't want cameras in here.
Of course.
Now it changes the service, and maybe less people want it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's not a good idea, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna opt for the service that wants to live on the dangerous side.
For that,
you know what I mean? Because it's like, for those people who are doing the right thing, right? It's almost like when we look at racism. We're not saying that every white person is racist. We're saying there's a structure of racism that does not allow minorities to move up. There is a structure of males abusing their power with females, and you have to tear that up from the ground up. But in this particular situation, for this service, yes, if you put cameras there, now it's like, all right, now I have to be videoed with someone massaging me. You know what I mean? To your point, if nobody ever wants to see this video, fine, but I'm a sports figure and now you got a video of me, what are you going to do with that?
There has to be some sort of caveat for the celebrity client, so to speak, where not that you get the ability to delete this video on your own. We'll take you to our security system. You can see it. Press in your code, delete said video. Nothing happened. But in the event something does, we won't allow you to delete the video today, sir. It was an inappropriate action in there. We got to get this reviewed. There should be a process. Or sign a waiver. People do shit all the time like that. Hey, to protect me and you, there is a like a very similar to, like, you see it in movies, when the grocery store is about to get robbed, or the bank teller goes and reaches for the button under the thing. Yeah. There has to be some sort of activation button to start the recording. In the event something does go wrong or you feel something is getting inappropriate. So we do have cameras on standby that we hope we never have to activate, but we need to, just inform them that they do exist. Yes. Even if this even if, old Aki, he got cameras in the store that don't work. Right. But they're there to hope they, detract people that want to do foul things at the space. These cameras don't work, but hey, you saw a camera, so what are you gonna do? You either gonna wear a mask or you're not gonna do that at all. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's the issue of privacy. If we're gonna take something, listen, people do this all the time, right? You try to trust that both parties are going to be respectful. Correct. Somebody messes it up for everybody. What happens? People then tend to find places where they don't follow the rules because they want some sort of privacy, right? How did politicians and rich people get around prostitutes?
Money.
High-end escorts. Yeah. No, it is money. Not tied to money, but they created a special place where you can do whatever you want and not be prosecuted and it not be a big thing unless you really mess up. All they're going to do is create another form of income where you're going to have those masseuses that are going to say, I don't want the camera there. I'm cool with it. Yeah. And they'll get paid more. Correct. Like, it's tough. Whenever you threaten privacy, even though it's warranted in this case, it's going to just create something else.
A new lane.
Exactly. So if they do it, I think that's great for protection. But be ready to see the birth of a new lane, like you said.
Not to play devil's advocate, but Robert Kraft, right? He had a situation in Florida where he was going to professional masseuse / rub and tug locations, right? If Deshaun, early in his career, say his first year or two, all his masseuse therapists turned into a rub and tug situation. So in his head, he's accustomed to this type of treatment. So unfortunately, he's now expecting said treatment from all parties. Right. It doesn't go his way this one. All right, the next one will. It never happens again. Like the next 25, it never happens again. If something doesn't click in his head that this isn't the right thing to do or no one's doing this anymore, you should have stopped. But he kept going, and that's where shit gets weird. Yeah. If it was a one-off case, like, yo, granted your first 10 was that, but this 11th one, I'm not with it. Stop. Oh, shit, I made a mistake. I apologize. Hopefully I still got a job tomorrow. But this will never happen again. Yeah. it got way too far, and that's why he's being persecuted and slammed for it now.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Good luck, man. Good luck, Browns.
Yeah, they got Jacoby Brissett. He's gonna start the season off for the Browns, and we'll see what happens. I think whatever happens to Deshaun, he should be thankful because he could be behind bars.
Yeah,
and
that's a fact.
Listen, we're not judge and jury, so we're just here to say we'll see what happens and we'll talk about it.
As always.
Hell yeah, man.
More of a still sports related, but more of an appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Serena Williams, man, she is hanging up the rackets at 41.
Yes,
she feels it's time. Very hesitant in her decision because she loves the game, loves the sport. But the combination of her wanting to be a true full-time parent / mom and could be the decline of her accolades in the last few years, so to speak. The combination of both kind of brought her to the retirement stage, and she's approached that stage of her career where she's going to move on to new endeavors. But I just want to give her flowers, man. She did a good thing for almost 2 decades. No one's ever ran the game like that she has. I think she's one of the most celebrated and decorated tennis stars that there is. Maybe 1 or 2 ahead of her, and a little before our time as far as the award or accolade for total wins. But she did damn good. She did goddamn good for what she did and the time that she did it in. But shouts to Serena, man.
Yeah, as a black female, what she's done for tennis, I mean, it's remarkable. And you see the next generation that she's been a positive influence on, right? You see a lot of stars. Once the new generation comes in, there's a lot of competition, a lot of comparison. She's been humble in her wins, humble in her losses, and I think the game is going to be in good hands with the new generation.
Correct. One other little caveat off of this. There was a statement that went out after she announces that almost 1 in 3 retirees develop symptoms of depression. I was curious to know, sidebar to you, was there anything that you left that caused you to be depressed to leave, whether it had been a hobby or a certain occupation or maybe a certain team you was on, where the culmination of everything you guys gathered came to that final day and you all had to part ways? Did that ever make you depressed to leave said situation?
That's a good one. I don't think I've ever left anything without going on to something else that was motivational. And that's the beauty of when you transition from one thing to another, is every good thing comes to an end.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So what is the next goal that you have? And I think as long as you keep what you are passionate about as an impact to others, it eases the levels of depression. Depression is in everything. You know, there's days I wake up and I'm just like in the wrong state of mind, and I'm looking for something to be positive about. But it's as long as you do things that are impactful, something throughout that day is going to remind you. And then even if it's still a rough day, as you go through it, you wake up the next day and then it's like you're still doing that same impactful thing.
Yep.
If everything you've been doing has been about you, then that depression is going to hit hard. Yeah. Because at some point you're not getting the gratification you get, especially celebrities. Correct. I can only imagine the minute they stop playing a sport, performing, acting, whatever they're known for, the minute they stop doing that, it's crazy. Yeah. They don't get that gratification. We talked about it earlier. Right. Your man Irv Gotti.
Oh.
You know, going on Drink Champs and bragging about stuff with Ashanti. That's somebody who clearly is going through depression, if you ask me.
Like, it's weird with that. Because, like, I know he has the whole documentary coming out, the Murder Inc. thing, and honestly, as a celebrity or someone trying to push a product, it's hard to decipher bad publicity from good publicity. When all you're really looking for is publicity for the product you're about to push. But dragging Ashanti's name for that publicity, it's just so uncalled for. Like, a lot of that shit is just supposed to die with. Like,
and this is why I understand why women are just over men. They're only concerned about the younger men in their generation and the grown men who act like men and care for them and protect them. But a random dude in the street walk up to them, or even at the work or whatever, they are like, no. Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't care what you're selling. I don't care what you're saying. I've already been through enough with your species. I'm good. I totally get it, because when you got clowns like this going on, you know what I mean, social media or, media platforms saying stuff like that, this is exactly why Ashanti ain't with nobody. Because it's sucker shit like that.
She got internally probably scarred from that. You know what I mean? She don't want to deal with nobody with that sort of baggage or background or even an inkling of that dickhead asshole gene in them.
This is why you can't get mad at the Ashantis, the Lori Harveys, you know what I mean, the Mayas. They're just living life.
Yep.
The Saweeties, they're having fun and they're learning who they want to be.
That's it.
They could care less about what the male species thinks about anything. They're just doing what they got to do, and I respect it, man. I mean, fellas, you're doing it to yourself. I hate to say it, but you're doing it to yourself if you're being dickheads out here. I get that you're trying to keep your masculinity and whatever. You've probably been raised by a male who really doesn't give a fuck. But at the same time, man, some of y'all are raising up young girls.
Yes.
And I really don't want you to be one of those guys that see that influence that you've had on other young men come back around to your daughter.
Correct.
Because it's going to hurt.
Big time. Big time. But on a weird silver lining, granted, Irv was a total dick, asshole, whatever you want to call him. I thought about the flip side of that coin. If I was with Ashanti in her mid-20s, total smoke show at the time. Just everything was working out for her. And hey, it's okay if we did have a small relationship and it didn't work out. It is what it is. But I might be hurt inside. I don't think I would ever express it. I'm too much of a man for that. But I would be hurt if I lost Ashanti at any time in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. This Ashanti looks like she's like confident in who she is.
Whatever, if anyone, male or female for that matter, was able to get in her presence to that level at any stage of her life is a blessed person.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever that situation arises, if you lost that, there might be some pain.
Just purely off appearance?
No, it's Ashanti, nigga.
Oh, so like off of like her personality and
Ashanti, nigga.
I'm just saying because we got to see mid-20s Ashanti and there was way more out there. Like Irv Gotti was like that dude at that time. So Ashanti at mid-20s was not on his level. Like when we're talking about the other women that were out there at that time, he didn't see the Ashanti that he probably sees now. Because what would make him want to say that at this point?
He's pushing a product. That's the only reason, unfortunately. He's had this little story in his head for 20 years.
I get that.
He could have said this 20 years ago. When she first said, I don't want to be with the murder group, before the feds came. Whatever the case may be, he had the opportunity to get this off his chest publicly if he felt the need to. But he held on to it. He waited. Unfortunately, alcohol played a part. But he chose to do it in that manner so untastefully. It's just weird.
He could have said something about 50 Cent. He didn't have to say Ashanti's name. That's where I gotta agree.
And then he called out her name repeatedly.
I hear you, brother. I hear you, brother. What I'm saying is I'm just agreeing to disagree because he could have said anything about anybody. I would have rather he said something about 50 Cent than he said something about Ashanti because to me that would have generated more attention.
he don't want that attention because 50 gonna give him the attention. He knows Ashanti's probably avoiding her because she wants to be as far from that as possible.
But
50 encourages that. 50 wants that,
and that's why it would have made more sense to sell a doc if it was just about the doc.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I hear everything you're saying, but that's a killer to your character as a man.
Correct.
You know, like it's because it's different. Like what you said, Nicki should put out the album with the docuseries. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because everything is tied to me trying to promote the docuseries, and it doesn't. I don't even have to clown nobody. I don't have to, it was
just distasteful.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And you're a grown man with kids.
It's it's Ashanti, bro. I've never seen her in any negative light ever, and I don't need it. And I don't need to hear that from him. That don't make no sense. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. But I wish him much therapy in his future.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good luck with that. And some other sad breakup news. Pete Davidson and Kim. It looks like they call quits.
Mm-hmm.
But Pete ended up going to a trauma therapy. I know therapy. As far as seeing a therapist, sitting on a couch, letting go of some feelings, letting someone explain to you what your feelings mean in real time, and try to get a hold on where you are emotionally. I get all that, but a trauma therapist, I'm not sure what they specialize in.
Trauma.
Yeah, but what are you going through?
That's a slippery slope, man, because with what Kanye was saying about him and then the constant trolling, Pete, we don't know Pete Davidson. We don't know his history or anything he's been through. In his mind, it could have been a form of bullying. It could have been something that was messing with his self-esteem. And if he checked himself into trauma therapy, I think that's a good thing, because the alternative to that is him doing something to harm himself or others.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
You know what I mean? So if he's doing that, more power to him, because there's a lot of people in therapy right now that we don't know about.
Of course. Yeah, man. What else was here? Sad news. All right, what's my last celebrity question for you?
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain to me the fascination of celebrities having the need to go to airports with drugs or weapons?
I'll never understand it. Never. You can get to your destination and get all the weed you want. I mean, Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa should be the go-tos, right? That's why I love the way Dave East moves. He literally mirrors Snoop. Wherever he goes, the weed is already set up. He don't need to travel with it. It doesn't make sense.
No.
We have these people. I think it's the rush of just them doing what they want to do, and then when they get caught, it's like you look stupid.
Every time.
You look stupid. Like, literally, you've bust your ass to be in a situation to provide a certain lifestyle, but you're doing shit that people who can't afford your lifestyle do. Correct. Because they can't afford to go to the place and get it there. They already got it.
Yeah. But I'm sorry for those who can't read what we're reading. It was a Iman Shumpert tidbit where, unfortunately, he got picked up out in Dallas. Mm-hmm. Had way too much weed with him in his book bag, but hopefully he's out. Hopefully he has lawyers and everything to nip this in the bud quickly, but I just hope no real time comes for this, because technically it's a felony. You can't be doing shit like that at federal airports. But yeah, man, we gotta do better. Do better.
Definitely.
Talk to me. What else you got on the docket?
That's pretty much it for me, brother. What is it? We were getting much. UFC 278 is coming up, man. August 20th. Usman versus Leon Edwards for the welterweight title, man. I'm a big fan of Usman. His brother actually just won his Tough Fighter debut on for the heavyweights by knockout. So his brother's coming in the heavyweight division. But yeah, Kamaru Usman, big fan of his, man. He goes up against Leon Edwards. I think this is gonna just be another wash. another win for Kamara.
I believe it. I believe it. The boy's nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've tuned into any losses if he has any. Again,
so not far recently.
Far and few. One other thing. By the time everyone hears this, I want to give a shout out to Aunt Star.
Yes.
Celebrating his 70th birthday late last weekend. Love you to death. Love you to death.
Yes.
But I will see you. I promise that.
Yeah, man.
I promise that.
Our Aunt Star is definitely that aunt that is the life of the party. She always introduced us to stuff that our parents were very hesitant to.
Yeah.
And we love her to death, man. Turning 70. Love you, man. Appreciate you. Shout out to Kareem too, man.
Facts.
Kareem Senior. He always asks us about the show and how we're doing.
Word.
So yeah, man. Big love to y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
I don't got nothing else personally, man. Okay.
All right, baby. Listen, we are so thankful that y'all stopped by, man. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out the FCP shop. We got summer gear for y'all. We know summer's almost over, so I know my man right here is going to get that fall stuff ready for y'all. Up. You know what I'm saying? Also get you ready for the winter early so that you can start buying stuff. We know the kids are about to go back to school. We got accessories for them, backpacks, all that good stuff.
Facts.
So make sure y'all go check out the site, man. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all follow us. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm plugging everything guys, because we are all over the place. Guarantee you we got something funny, educational, insightful, all that good stuff, man. But for right now, man, you are now released back into your regularly scheduled programming. Corporate life, parental life, entrepreneurship, whatever it is that you do, we salute you. I'm Senor Lee.
King Cat.
See you back next pay week when we lock back in to a free state of mind.